And today we will be talking about chapters 28 to 32 in Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. And without further ado, let's dive right in. So chapter 28 is called An Unfortunate Lily Maid. So if you have an Anne or any of the girls, do you think that you would have volunteered to be Elaine? Do you think that you would have the courage to be Elaine or not? Now, I would not have the courage to be Elaine for two reasons. I mean, I can swim, but there are still two reasons why I wouldn't do it. First, I don't want to pretend I'm dead and all that. I mean, it's just like, what if I crash or something bad happens? So that's just scary. And then also, if I'm in the boat when it sinks, you probably know who's gonna be blamed, right? So that's another reason. But mostly, yeah, it's just, I don't want to crash, smash, and I can swim very well. I would totally survive, but still, no way would I, risk it, just, and yeah, I don't want to fall into the water, especially if the current is strong, though I'm pretty sure the current isn't that strong here. Do you think that something was going to go wrong? I mean, yeah, sure, the chapter title is An Unfortunate Lily Maid, but still, when you were reading it, were you still like, I mean, this isn't so bad. I don't think that anything terrible is gonna happen. Or were you like, was your heart pounding as you thought it was going to die at any minute? I mean, not die. There's an ending to the book, and there's more books. But the point is, like, Anne's gonna get in big trouble. I was thinking a second. And if you had been in, and yeah, you couldn't swim, and yeah, you were in Anne's position, what do you think that you would have done? I think that I would have just screamed at the top of my lungs, "Help!" And then, hopefully, yeah, I could climb up to like the bridge piles. But if I didn't, and I'm not very sure if this will work, but I would like hang on to a piece of wood or whatever and pray for the best, screaming at the top of my lungs. And hopefully somebody would come and, I will be saved. If not, then, poor me. Well, yeah, so, that's my plan basically. Scream, cross my fingers, and hope I live. So not an amazing mastermind plan, but a plan nonetheless. If you had been in and you were stuck there and you were getting weak and tired, do you think that you would have risked getting back into the water and somehow crawling to shore? I mean, it sounds crazy, but the only way I learned to swim was basically by just jumping in and then trying not to drown. I mean, that sounds like a very crude way to learn how to swim. But like, that was the only way you can really learn. Like, I just practiced kicking, I practiced floating, and eventually I didn't drown. And it was the most amazing thing ever. So, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, if I could like push myself off, I could probably get to another bridge pile. Do you think that you would do that, or would it be too risky? I'm not very sure. I don't think I really have the guts. I mean, like, if I waited, eventually, even if, I felt really, really tired and I felt like I was gonna, like, drown or something, somebody would save me. But if I jumped, sure, maybe, the possibility of me drowning goes up, but at least, I won't be as tired and I'll get to land quickly. And, like, even if you're just hanging on, eventually you're just gonna be too tired. And okay, anyway, then there was Gilbert Blythe, right? And if you had been Anne, do you think that at that point you would have forgiven Gilbert? I mean, already it was sort of clear that Anne had forgiven Gilbert. So, well, afterwards, right? So, do you think that if you had been Anne, you would have forgiven Gilbert? Yeah, I would have already forgiven Gilbert. I'm not the type of person who keeps grudges. One, this is because, I try to keep grudges. Like, even if I really want to keep a grudge, I just can't. Like, it's like, I quickly get cheered up again. And second, and more importantly, I read this book. Oh yeah, Tuesdays with Morrie, a really awesome book by Mitch Albom that you definitely, like, 100% have to check out. Check it out right now. You're gonna read that grudges only hurt yourself, etc. You're gonna learn more about that. The thing is, I don't really believe in keeping grudges. Yeah, I get it. Like, but it also hurts yourself. And do you think that Anne was unreasonable to refuse Gilbert again, or what do you think? And after this, when Anne said, "No, I shall never be friends with you, Gilbert Blythe, and I don't want to be." After this, did you think, okay, Gilbert and Anne are never going to become friends, ever? Or did you think, well, Anne, that's like a big deal, but I think that the relationship can be saved. At first, I thought that they were forever going to be enemies, but think about this. She had an odd, newly awakened consciousness under her outraged dignity that the half-shy, half-eager expression in Gilbert's hazel eyes was something that was very good to see. Her heart gave a quick, queer little beat. You're gonna find out more about what that is later. But anyway, she realizes that she has, in her heart, forgiven Gilbert, but she isn't ready to confess it yet. But yeah, she's forgiven it, so that's progress. So what do you think? Do you think that by the end of the book, their relationship will have gone better, or do you think that it's gonna happen in later books, or do you think it's never gonna happen? So what do you think? Do you think that giving up on some romance, right? Anne gave up on all romance, but do you think that keeping some of that is a good thing? Yeah, I think so. It's a really big part of Anne's spirit. I think that without Anne, it wouldn't be Anne. And besides, everybody needs a bit of that to, spice their lives up and make it interesting. Okay, chapter 29, an epoch in Anne's life. Also, one question about that experience. Do you think that, Gilbert before, he always wanted Anne's forgiveness, but now, do you think that Anne will want Gilbert's forgiveness, or do you think they're just going to be bitter rivals? I don't think that Anne's too proud to admit it yet. They're both, like, foes now, so I think that the battle between them is going to get even worse. So, I don't think I really have to talk much about this chapter, but one question I do have is, what do you think that the best thing of a vacation is? I get it, like the anticipation of getting there and playing there, that's awesome, but how do you feel like when you go back home? Do you think that do you feel the same as Anne? So good to be going home and just, you just feel so happy to be back home? Or are you like, oh man, there I was in, Hawaii. In Hawaii, I could play all day. It was amazing. Now I'm back at boring home. Oh, gonna have to go back to school, and I have to do all my work. On vacation, you can just sit back and relax. You can go to cool places. You can eat at really awesome restaurants. I guess you could do that at home, but you could just do a lot of awesome stuff. But back at home, you can still do a lot of awesome stuff, but it just sometimes doesn't have the same thing to it. But what do you think? So, chapter 30, the Queen's class is organized. And so, the Queen's class, I don't think I really have to talk about the first part again. Anne just talks a lot, but I have a question. If you have been Marilla and you have to be around Anne, and you know, she talks a lot, do you think you could stand it? I mean, if you, yeah. Or do you think you, Anne, please, just let me say what I have to say. Do you think you'd be like that? I don't know. I mean, I guess I would enjoy hearing her talk. It's very interesting. I mean, and I really hear her talk. I actually did this. I actually listened to the book. I mean, I listened to this on an audiobook. Yeah. So because of that, of course, 100%, I heard everything she said, and you know, it's very interesting. But anyway, that's not what I was saying. Main point is, you know, Miss Stacy wanted to organize a class among her advanced students to go to Queens, right? You know, at least entrance exam to Queens, and Anne got accepted. Were you surprised by that or not? Not really. Like, you know, Matthew and Marilla had already talked about sending Anne to Queens, and along with that, Anne's like one of the, is like in the top 3 smartest kids, top 2, I guess. Gilbert versus Anne. So it wasn't a big surprise that if there was like a group of advanced students made, that Anne would be part of it. And besides, Anne was already planning, I mean, at least Marilla and Matthew were planning to send Anne to Queens. You know, Diana was not part of the book though. Not book, sorry. The group though, right? And if you happened in and you saw Diana walking home alone, do you think that you would have actually cried like Anne, or would you just think, well, you know, Diana goes Diana's way, I go my way? Or do you think you would just be all smiles because you got into the advanced class, and you know, you would sort of forget about Diana? I think I'll be very sad. Now, so do you think that, you know, now that the rivalry between Gilbert and Anne is like full blast, right? Do you think that Anne could live it down if Gilbert passed but she didn't? I don't think so. Do you think that, you know, Anne's worked really hard, right? And next year she's gonna work really hard for Queens. But, so, you know, so far, you know, Anne's a really bright person. She has an enormous imagination. She loves to read. And, you know, she's just super smart, right? And she likes to write as well. She loves telling stories, and she has the potential to become a writer, and she wants to become a teacher. She has like so many opportunities. I'm pretty sure that, you know, if like Princeton or Yale or Harvard or Stanford are around her, they'll be begging for her to come. I mean, I don't know, but still, she's super smart. So I mean, yeah, 100%. But do you think that you know, Anne, after she goes to Queens, what do you think she's going to be doing? Do you think that she's just going to settle down into a life of a teacher? Do you think she's going to be a writer? Or do you think she's going to do something else? Do you think she'll pursue higher education? Do you think that she will just, I don't know, just stay with Marilla? I mean, she's probably going to find some work. So what do you think is going to happen? Like, do you think she's going to maybe start a newspaper? Who knows? I mean, it's Anne. Unlimited possibilities. So Anne said that she wasn't even gonna look at a school book in vacation. You know, she studied really hard all term, and she's poured over geometry. And so, you know, like, she's worked super hard, so she should just have a break, right? And so, you know, like, some people say that this is best. You know, in the summer, you should just play as much as you can play. Just let it all go, so that in the fall you'll be refreshed, you'll be ready to go. Do you think that's the right thing? You know, you work really hard throughout the school year. In the summer though, you're free. You play, you know, and in other ways you grow, right? You're gonna learn a lot. And then back to school, and you know, you have let it all go, and you're ready for school again. You'll be ready, right? I don't know why I'm putting up fists, but like, you can sort of think about it as like, you know, like, before you were like, but now you're ready to fight again. Or in you know, less violent example, you're ready to go again, right? You're ready to, I don't know, like, you're refreshed. You're ready to go. Or do you think that, if you just play all summer long, in the end, you're just, by the time you get back to school, you're used to playing. So you're like, oh man, I have to work again. And you'll just be less motivated. And there are some studies that show that a break in the summertime that actually decreases like writing, math skills, and not by like an enormous amount, but like still, it does. There's a decrease. And along with that, like, it would be best if you just studied up through the summer, right? So what do you think? And now, Anne, Mrs. Lynn said that Anne made everybody else look sort of common and overdone, right? And do you think that if you had been compared to Anne, you would also seem common and overdone? I think so. And if so, why? I don't think it's just because of her complexion or her hair. I think it's just like, if you're near her, you feel something. Like her, maybe it's her imagination or creativity, but whatever. You just feel something that just separates her from everybody else. And suddenly, even like the most crazy people seem normal. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying she is different, and yeah, being normal isn't a good thing. So yeah, that's a good thing. And now, Anne played heartily all throughout the summer, but amazingly, once September came, she was bright-eyed and alert, and she was like 100% ready to go back to studying, right? And she just feels like studying. And, she said, oh, you good old friends, I'm glad to see your honest faces once more. Yes, even you, geometry. So I think, so do you think you would also feel like that? Sort of, like, whenever the school year starts, I'm always sort of excited. Like, it's like new capabilities, like new horizons. Like, now that I've played, I'm refreshed. I'm ready for some learning. So yeah, there is sort of a feeling like that. Now, if you had been Marilla and you saw how tall Anne had grown, do you think you would feel really sad? Or do you think that you would be happy? I think I would be both happy and sad. I would be so sad and I would miss the old Anne, but at the same time I would be so proud that Anne had grown so much. And now Anne grew quieter. And if you had been Marilla, do you think that it would have scared you, or do you think that you would be like, or do you think that you wouldn't like it? I don't know. I mean, I think that Anne would still talk a lot. But at the same time, I think that I think it'll be sort of sad, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to be thought of. Anne still talks a lot, which is a good thing, because Anne can't be complete without talking. But still, compared to that child in the beginning who talked for pages, when you read this, do you feel a little nostalgic for that point? Anne was just read Anne talking about sleeping in a cherry tree to now. I mean, it's just a completely transformed Anne. Are you happy about that, or do you sort of miss the old Anne? Now, the pass list is out, chapter 32. If you have an Anne, do you think you'd be too scared to look at the pass list? 100%. I don't think I would be able to look at it. I would be like, oh, did I pass or not? Did I pass or not? But in the end, I don't think I could have another person tell me. I just couldn't. I would need to look at it myself, even if it killed me. Like, I would just be terrified. And then, Anne actually passed. And so actually, I mean, yeah, we all expect that. Did you expect that? What did you think? So if you have been Anne and you passed, how would you feel? And yeah, again, what future do you think Anne will have? Do you think she's going to enjoy Queens? 100%. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that, I think that Anne's just really gonna enjoy Queens and meet new friends. But still, there is going to be challenges. So, do you think that Anne will actually go along well with Queens, or do you think that something bad's going to happen? And Anne still gets into a lot of scripts, so who knows? Anyway, that was chapters 28 to 32 in Anne of Green Gables. I hope that you enjoyed these 5 chapters in this amazing classic by L.M. Montgomery. And I'll see you next time to finish this book. Or maybe in 2 videos, I could talk about 4 chapters first, 4 chapters next. Or I could talk about the entire 8 chapters. I'm not very sure what I'm going to be doing. But whatever the case, this is either the 3rd to last video or the 2nd to last video. So I'll see you next time in another video about books or news or whatever else I feel like talking about. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.